Good morning, Jayhawks, and welcome back to this week's edition of Good Morning KU Sports. I'm your host, Adeline Rabel, and we have a packed show for you all today. Kicking things off, Zach, Ulysia, and Ryan will bring you everything you need to know about men's and women's basketball. Then after the short break, Sam is here to break down a unique topic, Premier League darts, and Ryan will bring you some of his top 5 moments of the NFL season. We'll round out the show with Ulysia giving an NIL update and Olivia sharing next week's weather forecast. But before all that, the sports world has been very, very busy this past week, and I'm going to break down some of the biggest headlines for you. In recent Jayhawk news, Kansas golfer Lauren Clark won the PDI Intercollegiate Tournament in Orlando this past week, placing first out of 96 golfers. She set Kansas's second lowest 54-hole score in school history, leading the team to a 6th-place finish out of 17 teams. Former KU basketball player Christian Braun tweeted about KU basketball's recent struggles ahead of Monday night's matchup against Iowa State. Braun stated Bill Self should start the players that care about having Kansas across their chest. This created speculation surrounding what players he was referring to, but Braun never commented on the situation again since. KU basketball went on to beat Iowa State in a dominant fashion 69-52. KU softball kicked off their season yesterday in the FAU Paradise Classic down in Florida. They lost a close one against a great Clemson team 4-3 and dropped their second game to FAU 3-2. They look to bounce back against Wisconsin today. In the professional sports world, the NFL announced that the Rams will be the first team to host a game in Australia in the 2026 season. Myles Garrett, current Browns defensive lineman, requested a trade from Cleveland after another disappointing season. Garrett was drafted by the Browns in 2017, and wherever he ends up, he will make an immediate impact. Also in NFL news, Travis Kelce told the media he is in no hurry to retire even if the Chiefs three-peat, despite recent retirement rumors. Josh Allen took home the MVP last night at the NFL Honors with a close vote, 27-24 against Lamar Jackson. Joe Burrow won Comeback Player of the Year, and Saquon Barkley took home Offensive Player of the Year. The NBA has been extremely busy this past week, and just yesterday, the Miami Heat finalized a deal to send Jimmy Butler to the Golden State Warriors in exchange for Andrew Wiggins. The Lakers also made a move to grab Mark Williams, a center for the Charlotte Hornets, in exchange for rookie Dalton Knecht. These two trades obviously weren't the first to send shockwaves through the league, but I'll let Ryan fill you in on that. Now that we're all caught up on recent sports news, let's get this show on the road.
Thanks, Addie. The NBA season is well underway, and many former Jayhawks have been making their mark on the league. Let's take a look at some of the former KU stars who are showing out in the NBA. First, you can't talk about Jayhawks in the NBA without talking about Joel Embiid. Embiid has been one of the most dominant centers in the league for years now, and when he's healthy, he's one of the most valuable players in the league. He can score from anywhere and is a monster on defense. His skills have propelled him to 7 All-Stars and an MVP in 2023, as well as an appearance on the U.S. men's national team. Embiid currently averages 24.7 points, 8.1 rebounds, and 4.3 assists per game. Most recently, he put up a 29-point triple-double against the Mavericks, making plays like this one. Embiid is now in his 9th season in the NBA and has already cemented himself as one of the all-time Kansas greats. He is also joined by the Sixers by former Jayhawk Kelly Oubre, who has had a nice career and is currently averaging 14.3 points per game. Another Kansas player who has had a very notable NBA career is Andrew Wiggins. Wiggins was selected first overall by the Cavaliers in 2014, but was traded to the Timberwolves before the season started. He had 6 solid years in Minnesota before he was traded to the Warriors in 2020. He's become a starter with Golden State and even won a finals there in 2022. This year, he's been solid, averaging 17.6 points, 4.6 rebounds, and 2.4 assists per game. Most recently, he put up 25 points in a win against the Magic. Now on to some more recent KU players that have been proving their worth in the league. After winning a state championship in high school and a national championship at KU, Christian Braun was drafted by the Nuggets and won the finals in his first year. He's now a starter and is getting solid minutes, and he averages 14.4 points a game. He's also a walking highlight reel as he's racked up many poster dunks such as this one. Speaking of that 2022 national championship team, Jalen Wilson's averaging 9.6 points a game for the Nets. Over in Toronto, there's a duo of Jayhawks that are both solidifying themselves as important role players for the Raptors. Grady Dick was drafted by the Raptors after 1 year at Kansas, and Ochai Agbaji was traded there from the Jazz in early 2024. Both have been very solid to start the year. Grady's averaging almost 16 a game and has hit the upper 20s and lower 30s in points several times. And Ochai's career has been picking up since he joined the Raptors, as he's hitting 10 points per game. Both Agbaji and Dick had good games against the Knicks on Tuesday, scoring 7 and 14 respectively. They even teamed up for this block and dunk on the other end. Insane. Lastly, a former Jayhawk was part of some big news recently. Even though he was not the main focus of the trade, Markieff Morris was sent to the Lakers as a part of the Luka Doncic trade. Morris has been on 8 teams in the league over his 14-year career, and this will be his second stint with the Lakers. We'll hear more about that trade in a moment from Ryan, but now over to Ulicia for a recap of women's college basketball.
Thanks, Zach. This past Sunday was our girls' Sunflower Showdown against Kansas State, who upset the Jayhawks 91-64. Although we could not secure the home victory, our girls put up a good fight and outscored K-State 26-24 in the fourth quarter. Sanaya Copeland had hot hands during the game, going 3 for 3 on three-pointers and a total of 17 points. However, it still wasn't enough to take K-State's 65.2% three-point percentage and multiple scoring runs against the Jayhawks. Don't hang your heads too low, Jayhawks, because our girls will be matching up with the Wildcats again on February 22nd in Manhattan. This Wednesday, West Virginia secured a 76-43 win over our Jayhawks in an upsetting defeat following an 18-0 run from the Mountaineers in the first quarter. Samaya Nichols led the team with 12 points, and coupled with support from Reagan Williams with 3 blocks and Laya Canessa with 5 steals, Kansas was able to put up a strong fight. West Virginia's Sydney Shaw had a career high of 22 points, and the Jayhawks were not able to get the score into single digits the whole game. Gear up, Jayhawks, because our girls face off in Cincinnati tomorrow at 11 a.m. on ESPN+. This is a close matchup predictor, coming nearly 50-50 according to ESPN, so let's see if we can secure the road win. Now over to Ryan.
Thank you, Alicia. The NBA's trade deadline has officially come to an end, and it was started with the most historic NBA trade to date. Luka Doncic, a 25-year-old international superstar, was traded from the Dallas Mavericks to Los Angeles Lakers for an aging Anthony Davis, as well as Max Christie in the Los Angeles Lakers 2029 first-round pick. This generational deal is shocking because there is no reason that any NBA team should ever be trading their young superstar away, no matter the case, unless there's something going on behind the scenes between the player and team personnel that has become damaged goods. The Mavericks said that Doncic was quote-unquote unconditioned and 270 pounds, hence why they decided to move on from him. They also said that defense wins championships. Last season, the Mavericks were 7th in defense after trading for Daniel Gafford and P.J. Washington at the trade deadline. Their former generational point forward also led Dallas to last year's NBA Finals, in which they held the Boston Celtics to just 101 points a game. Throughout his 7-year career, Doncic has averaged 28.6 points, 8 assists, and 8 rebounds on 47% shooting from the field and almost 35% from 3. He is only going to get better, and his time on the Mavericks will go down in history. However, his history on the Mavericks will now be remembered as the most shocking trade of all time. The rich become richer, and in this case, it is the Lakers. Not only do they have LeBron James, they just traded for an MVP candidate and 5-time All-NBA player at only 25 years old. Doncic has wanted to play with James for years, and now it is finally happening. This is great for the NBA, as views may finally rise after being down since the 2020 bubble. Pairing 2 generational basketball players, one might argue that James is the greatest ever, will generate so many viewers for the league. Not to mention, the Lakers now have the young talent for at least 10 years if they can lock him in on a new contract. LA never fails to disappoint at getting some of the greatest players ever, and now they are set to dominate for years to come. Now, back to Addie.
Thanks, Ryan. Being from Minnesota, I thought the Karl Anthony Towns for Julius Randle trade was as bad as it could get, but somehow this one proved me wrong. We will be right back after the Jokers on the Street video. Thanks for sticking with us. Now let's take a look at the top 5 NFL plays of the season just in time for the Super Bowl on Sunday.
Thanks, Addie. Super Bowl weekend is officially here, and I cannot wait for the big game on Sunday. In the meantime, let's reflect on the season and take a look back at the top 5 moments that defined what was this incredible NFL season. Starting at number 5, we have MVP Josh Allen's historic play in the snow when he threw a pass and caught a score on the same play. With the Bills pouring it on the 49ers, Allen threw a quick pass to Amari Cooper, who bobbled it with multiple 49er defenders in his face, and would throw it back to Allen and elude 3 defenders and dive for the pylon and for the score. Even though the Bills season didn't end the way they anticipated, it was still a tremendous year for Buffalo. Coming in at number 4 is Garrett Wilson's catch heard around the world. On Halloween night, Wilson delivered both a trick and treat for football fans everywhere when he came down with an Odell Beckham Jr.-esque catch from Aaron Rodgers to take the lead back over the Texans. This is one of the most impressive touchdown catches we've seen in recent memory, and no doubt one of the most memorable plays of the season. But maybe the best overall player of the 2024 NFL season is the man who takes up my next 2 spots. Saquon Barkley is having a career year in his first season with the Eagles as he's rushed for over 2,000 yards in the regular season, which is best in the NFL. And my number 3 play of the season is Saquon's electric backwards hurdle against the Jacksonville Jaguars. This play made rounds across the sports world and is even implemented into Madden. This is definitely one of the more iconic plays from running back in recent memory. Saquon also holds the number 2 spot with an electric 78-yard touchdown run in the snow to put a dagger into the Rams. Barkley would set a franchise record with his 255-yard rushing performance in this playoff game. As we all know, playoff football in Philly is always electric, and it's certainly delivered this year. But last but certainly not least, the number 1 moment of the 2024 NFL season was Commanders rookie quarterback and Rookie of the Year Jaden Daniels' 52-yard Hail Mary to stun the Bears. An absolute prayer that ricocheted off multiple Bears defenders and fell right into the arms of Noah Brown. Look at him just elude multiple defenders, extend the play, and then bam. End of game. It was one of the more impressive rookie seasons we've seen in quite some time, and he threw for over 3,500 yards. It was a historic campaign for Daniels in Washington as they made the NFC Championship for the first time since 1992. Even though it ended in a loss, the future is very bright with Daniels behind center in our nation's capital. So there you have it, the top 5 moments that define this NFL season. Hope everyone enjoys the Super Bowl on Sunday, and let's head over to Sam.
What a season. Thank you, Ryan. Let's go further back in time for a moment to 1908. A pub landlord from Leeds, England was taken to court for allowing darts to be played in his establishment. Authorities claimed it was a gambling game based on chance. The owner, however, demonstrated that darts required skill by successfully hitting specific numbers on the board, proving it wasn't just a game of pure luck. They ruled in his favor, solidifying darts as a legal pub game in England. Fast forward to today, and darts is all you should be worried about every Thursday until the end of May. 8 of the world's top darts players competing for a pot of £1 million began their climb to 2025 Premier League glory yesterday. This year's Premier League darts competition moves across Great Britain, culminating in London with additional stops in Dublin and Berlin. The top 4 ranked players in the world qualified automatically, and 4 others were selected as wildcard entries. Matt Porter, the chief executive of the Professional Darts Corporation, PDC, which organizes the event, said that big stage presence was a major factor in selecting the other 4. Here's how that event is structured. Every Thursday for 16 weeks, those 8 go head-to-head in a straight knockout tournament. The players will meet each other once at the quarterfinal stage from weeks 1 to 7, and then again in weeks 9 to 15. Matches in weeks 8 and 16 are played based on current position in the league. Players earn 2 points for a quarterfinal win, 3 for a semifinal win, and 5 for winning the night. The 4 with the most points by the end of night 16, the final night, qualify for the final playoffs, which take place on May 29th in London at the O2 Arena. There, first place will play 4th place and second place will play 3rd. If you win the entire event, it's £275,000 as a prize, quite a chunk of cash for darts. Last place still pockets $60K. Let's run down the 8 players, starting with world number 1, former world champion, and last year's Premier League runner-up, Englishman Luke Humphries. His walk-on song is I Predict a Riot. Then 35-year-old Dutchman Michael van Gerwen, the only non-Welshman or Englishman of the bunch, who's a 3-time world champion and has more Premier League titles than anyone at 7. His walk-on song is 7 Nation Army. Rob Cross, ranked 4th in the world, is another former world champion at 34 years of age. His walk-on song is I Don't Want to Wait. Next, 39-year-old Gerwyn Price, the number 9 player in the world, is a former rugby player from Wales and has 37 senior PDC titles to his name. His walk-on song is Ice Ice Baby. Then we have 34-year-old Chris Dobby, who is ranked lowest heading in at 11th. He was the 2023 Masters champion, and his walk-on song is Let's Get Ready to Rumble. Nathan Aspinall is ranked 10th in the world, dropping from a peak ranking of 4 last year, and will walk onto the stage accompanied by Mr. Brightside. Stephen Bunting, the TikTok favorite, is a 39-year-old Scouser who will have the crowd shouting, "Let's go Bunting Mental." Bunting's debut in 2015 found him in last place, but be prepared for the Bullets' comeback. His walk-on song is arguably the best one, Titanium. Finally, only one man gets the green light for his own graphic, and that is reigning Premier League champion and current PDC world champion Luke the Nuke Littler, the teenager who has already won 11 senior PDC titles as atop the darts world and has catapulted the game to new heights. Last year's Premier League final was Luke v. Luke, and Littler dethroned Humphreys to win the event. Littler's title defense commenced in Belfast yesterday in the most eye-catching opening night quarterfinal matchup, a rematch of the 2025 PDC World Darts Championship final between Luke Littler and Michael Van Gerwen. That pinnacle clash on New Year's Day drew a peak Sky Sports audience of 3.1 million viewers and crowned Littler as darts' youngest world champion at just 17 years of age. However, Littler was bested by Michael 6 legs to 5 in a thriller last night to kickstart the Premier League. Here was the Dutchman's winning moment in the quarters.
Michael Van Gerwen won't be leaving double 10.
He will not be going 5 double 10, 9 double 8. And Michael Van Gerwen takes some revenge for that World Championship final defeat.
Van Gerwen went on to lose to Luke Humphreys in the semifinals. Chris Dobby and Rob Cross made up that other semifinal, which Dobby won. Dobby then became fodder to Luke Humphreys, who beat him 6-1 in the final, meaning Humphreys picked up 5 points, Dobby 3, and Van Gerwen and Cross both collected 2 on the night. The next stop is Glasgow on the 13th, and night 1 finalists Humphreys and Dobby will face off in the quarters, given it wasn't a very good final. Viewers in the U.S. can watch on Fubo. Now over to Ulysia for NIL updates.
Thanks, Sam. Florida State men's basketball coach Leonard Hamilton will be stepping down as head coach after 23 years with the university amid a legal battle involving NIL. Hamilton, the winningest coach in the program's history, is currently in a lawsuit involving 6 of his former players from the 2023-2024 season. The Seminoles coach is being accused of promising players NIL deals worth $250,000 each via several verbal agreements from the student athletes. FSU has not commented on the issue yet, but Hamilton will be leaving the administration in high regard. The Cavender twins are among some of the first college athletes to take advantage of NIL gearing up for Super Bowl Sunday. It has been revealed in a teaser the Miami Guards will join some professional and collegiate athletes for this year's Nerds Super Bowl commercial featuring country artist Shabuzi. Other college athletes taking advantage of this Super Bowl NIL deal include Clemson's Sammy Brown, Mia Moore, and even UNC commit Anna Frey. That's all I have on recent NIL updates. I'll go ahead and pass it over to Addie.
Thanks, Ulysia. The NIL world is always changing, so I appreciate the weekly updates. After the break, Olivia will be back to give you the weekly weather forecast.
National champions deserve a clean campus. Don't wait for other Jayhawks to pick up your mess. Keep the University of Kansas clean.
Welcome back to Good Morning KU Sports. Now we have a lot of exciting sports news and weather this upcoming weekend. First, we're going to be talking about the Sunflower Showdown that's happening this Saturday, as well as some colder weather that's going to be rolling in next week and some rounds of snow that are going to also be coming in with that colder weather. But first, taking a look outside right now, it's mostly overcast skies, temperatures right around 35 degrees, and winds are out of the east at about 12 miles per hour. Looking ahead at satellite, these clouds really aren't going anywhere today. It's actually going to increase in cloudiness. We're not really expecting any rain with these types of clouds. There's going to be some showers down in Oklahoma and Arkansas, but for here it's going to be relatively dry. The high is going to be right around 41 degrees, and again, those clouds are going to persist. Winds are going to pick up to about 10 to 20 miles per hour, and there could be some gusts with that, but overall not too bad of a day. Looking ahead at tonight, we're expecting some chance of showers. It's going to be a low chance, right around 40%. And it's going to also be a little bit cooler, right around freezing for the evening hours. Now looking ahead at tomorrow for the Sunflower Showdown in Manhattan, weather's going to be relatively good. Temperatures are going to be right around 40 degrees, and it's going to be mostly sunny throughout the game period. And looking at the Super Bowl forecast, if you're planning on doing anything in Kansas City or Lawrence, we're going to be sitting right around freezing again for the start of the football game. And down in New Orleans, where the game's actually happening, it's going to be 74 degrees and very clear. So it's going to be a great day for football for them. Looking at our rounds of snow again, we're expecting the first round to come in Monday night into Tuesday. That's going to kind of persist and move out of the area, and we're going to have a little bit of a break before another round of snow is going to come in overnight Wednesday and then last throughout the day Wednesday. Now, because this is so far away, we don't actually know how much snowfall we're going to get. It's really uncertain. But what we can say is that it's definitely not going to be what we experienced early in January. It's going to be much less compared to that. And looking at some of our other sporting events going on, we're expecting relatively good conditions for a lot of them. For our softball down in Florida, it's going to be in the lower 80s and sunny skies. Women's basketball has a chance for showers for their Saturday game in Cincinnati. And men's basketball this upcoming week on Tuesday, with that snow chance, they're going to be having a chance for some snow showers. So if you're leaving the game, be ready for that just in case. And looking ahead at our 7-day forecast, we are going to start to experience that cool down going into Sunday and Monday. And then with those rounds of snow, we're really going to drop off in temperatures, getting well below freezing. And even in the overnight hours, we could be getting down to the single digits on Tuesday and Wednesday. Addie?
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Make sure to tune in to Playmakers at 12 today and run it back on Monday at 1. I hope you have a fabulous Super Bowl weekend, and as always, rock chalk.